Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Forbes Flash. Thanks for joining us. The news that 6-year-old mattress startup Tuft & Needle is merging with Serta Simmons Bedding is a big win for its young co-founders. The founders never brought in venture capital or any other outside funding, meaning the deal likely makes them centimillionaires. Terms of the transaction haven't been made public, but the business was likely valued at between $200 million and $800 million. The move to become a part of Big Mattress signifies a rapidly changing landscape in the industry, as older brands try to compete with direct-to-consumer brands like Casper, Lisa, and Purple. You couldn't miss the news that former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort was convicted on 8 counts of financial crimes this week. But instead of focusing on what that means politically, think about it as a lesson in tax, and this week's quick tip. Here's what you can learn. Don't underestimate the importance of reporting your foreign accounts separately from your worldwide income. The penalties for failing to do so are even worse than tax evasion. And know that the IRS has access to the information it needs. Thanks to the Foreign Account Tax Compliant Act, foreign banks have to hand over information on American accounts, so it's not worth avoiding disclosure. Troubling news for the upcoming midterms in November. There's already been significant effort made to breach groups connected with American political parties. Microsoft has this week taken down fake websites designed to mimic the websites for 2 think tanks, the International Republican Institute and the Hudson Institute. The hackers appear to be the same crew that the US believes was behind the breach of the DNC, Russia's Fancy Bear group. Data is finally emerging about the impact of ride-sharing on urban congestion, and the verdict? It's making traffic worse, not better. A major factor? People choosing the ease and relative cost of ride-sharing over other forms of transportation. 60% of passengers would have chosen public transportation, bicycle, foot, or have not made the trip at all if a ride-hailing option had not been available. So, some potential solutions? Limiting licenses for ride-sharing vehicles, as New York City just did, or incentivizing companies like Uber and Lyft to focus on transit programs for senior citizens, the disabled, and low-income residents. The question is whether or not this period of congestion is a growing problem or a necessary transition into tech-driven transportation. And now that self-driving vehicles aren't far off, the discussion won't be going away anytime soon. Here's a few stories you might have missed this past week. Did your alma mater make the 2018 top colleges list? Our recently released ranking of the best schools in the US remains dominated by the Ivy League, with Harvard and Yale taking the top spots. Notably, Berkeley lands at number 14, marking the first time a state school is that high up on the list. Our rankings are based on outputs, like what students do after graduation, rather than inputs like SAT scores and acceptance rates. Take a look at the full package by checking out #TopColleges across social media. Now's your chance to drive like James Bond, if you have a few $1 million in the bank to spend. Aston Martin is going to build authentic reproductions of the iconic DB5 that was made famous in Goldfinger, and pricing them at $3.5 million a piece. Only 25 will be built, complete with a rotating license plate and a motor capable of getting you from 0 to 60 in 7.1 seconds. And for any fan looking to have the ultimate James Bond collector's item, be warned, Aston Martin says the new Goldfinger DB5 won't actually be road legal. A new study found that 54% of teens worry that they spend too much time on their cell phones. Apparently, the other half of teens are lying to themselves. Just kidding, but I am surprised that the number isn't higher, especially since the study also found that 65% of parents are worried about the same thing. One thing the teens surveyed seem to be on the same page about? That spending too much time online is a problem facing people their age. 90% of them think so. Apple's iPhone sales have plateaued over the past few years as newer models get more expensive, but sales of refurbished phones were up about 13% last year. So, as more and more people buy cheaper, second-hand iPhones, a business opportunity has also emerged. Enter Backmarket, a France-based website that aggregates sales of refurbished electronics. They use machine learning to match buyers and sellers before taking 10% cut of sales, and are forecasting $30 million of revenue in 2018. JP Morgan has a new strategy for attracting millennials, offering free stock, bond, mutual fund, or ETF trades through its mobile banking app. The perk is capped at 100 trades, and after that amount, customers will be charged $2.95 per trade. But for JP Morgan, it's not about bringing in revenue. It's about customer attraction and retention. The bank is competing with trading apps like Robinhood, which has 5 million users in just 5 years. 8 of the 10 highest paid female athletes in the world are tennis players, solidifying the sport's role as one of the only where earnings opportunities are the same for women and men. Leading the group is Serena Williams, whose $18.1 million earnings over the past year solidified her spot as the world's highest paid female athlete. Only $62,000 of that was earned on the court, as she took a break to become a mother, but she has more than a dozen major sponsors to help keep bringing in the big bucks. Right behind Serena is Caroline Wozniacki, whose $7 million in prize money outnumbered her $6 million in endorsement. The only non-tennis players to make the list are 23-year-old badminton player PV Sindhu, whose robust sponsor list helped earn her $8.5 million in the past year, and Danica Patrick. Patrick's move away from racing gave her time to focus on new money-making endeavors, such as a clothing line and a fitness book. Thanks for joining us. Tweet your feedback using #ForbesFlash, and we'll see you next week. Tune in every Friday morning. Same time, same place.